Good evening, friends, and welcome to yet another very interesting session with Suresh Kochattil ji. Welcome, Suresh ji.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.
Yeah. So, in the first point, Suresh ji, BJP has had a major victory in Kerala in the civic body election, winning the Thiruvananthapuram Corporation. And it was also very interesting to see Kerala's first woman IPS officer, Sri Lekha, emerged as one of the prominent faces of BJP's breakthrough. And this has been a LDF stronghold for a very long time. And people say because of the Shabrimala issue and all that, BJP has won this, very handsomely.
Well, it not exactly Sabarimala. Yes, Sabarimala accentuated the entire thing. But I think to a large extent, it is a anti-Hindu attitude of the LDF government that resulted in the present scenario. Because if it was just the Hindu thing, then BJP would have even won handsomely in Thrissur, apart from Palakkad, which they retained for the third time municipality. And they lost Pandalam, which was their municipality. And then, of course, they won Tiruvananthapuram handsomely. One short of the majority, which they can anyway cobble up, and not a big thing. But what happened, if you look at that, Jaydev, is the arrogance of CPM. It's the arrogance of the Communist Party of India, Marx especially, towards the other parties, towards the other religions like Hinduism, for example, which resulted in the present scenario. And that coupled with allegations against Chief Minister Pinarayi Vijayan of the gold smuggling case and his daughter accepting bribes from shady firms, that plus the Shabarimala issue contributed to it all. There are various other things, small issues regarding various temples, which the Hindus were understandably upset. Now, if you know the composition of Tiruvananthapuram, it is basically a Hindu stronghold to speak of within the city proper, the municipal corporation limits. And there again, the Nair Menon combination is very strong. And which is why Shashi Tharoor and Nair himself has won that constituency 4 times. Okay, you can always credit it to the Congress thing, but end of the day, it is also Shashi Tharoor's personal charisma which won over everything else. And the victory, not just in Tiruvananthapuram, by the way, Jay, they were also in other parts of the state, and including the panchayats where BJP did pretty well, considering the fact that Hindus are only about 43% of the state population. Hindus are technically in a minority in their own state. Imagine. But they don't get any quota for that. And that 43% is also divided among 3 parties, the LDF, the UDF, and the BJP, which is why BJP has never gone beyond the 16% mark in many elections. But recently, in some places, they at least managed to breach that and win up to 20%. We also aware that it was Suresh Gopi, the actor who won from Thrissur and now a union minister. He won again not because of just the Hindu votes. He won again because of the support of the Christians of Thrissur, who were kind of getting fed up of the LDF. 2 issues which contributed to that, the Congress victory, if I can say, in Kottayam, which is their stronghold, and also in Ernakulam, which again is a Christian stronghold, is the fact that the LDF went against certain institutions within the church. Of course, one of them was, we all know, the famous hijab controversy in a school in Kerala, which the LDF backed to the hilt. And the minister, education minister Shivan Kutty, even wrote a letter saying that it should be implemented. Now that upset the church to no end, and they ensured that this time they showed the results to the LDF. The second thing which upset the church, especially the Latin church, was the results of Munambam. Of course, the Munambam issue, we all know about it, the way the Waqf board came out of blue and said that the land belonging to fishermen community, who've been staying there for 3 to 4 generations, belongs to them. And that again was the last straw, proverbial last straw on the camel's back. The Latin church fought for the community there. Withdrew the fast. The Latin church withdrew the fast, and they wanted the elections to go on, and they put up their own candidate. The Congress put up their own candidate, one of the leaders of the agitation. BJP-led front refused to withdraw the fast, and they're continuing with it. And they put up their candidate, who ironically was another Christian, Latin Christian. And the end result was that BJP candidate won from Munambam. The Munampam issue was another fact that the CPM and the UDF to a certain extent were also responsible for what happened. And that is where we saw the fight to finish at Munampam. These two issues actually propelled the Christian voters to vote for UDF in a big way. They swept the backyards of CPM, including Alapura, including Kottayam, including Pathanamthitta and Ernakulam. And in the central part of Kerala, which is where the CPM and the BJP are on equal footing, the BJP did well in Thrissur. They could have won it, but then they didn't have the requisite strength to take it over the edge in a constituency where they have their MP, Suresh Gopi. Nevertheless, it was a good victory. There's no doubt about it. And the fact that they managed to push it over the edge in Palakkad and win from there is also a good thing. But if you look at the overall picture, the worry for CPM is very, very palpable. Pinarayi Vijayan put up a brave face. He suggested that he would relook, or the party would relook at the welfare measures and ensure, which basically means that the kit they used to give every year before every election, which they thought was a bribe enough to bribe a Kerala voter, would no longer work. Possibly the last vestiges of communism is in Kerala. And once they are gone from there, they can as well be put up in a museum to tell people of Bharat that there existed a party called CPM or communist or whatever you want to call it. And here they are. And that is what will happen soon, because they've been wiped out of Tripura, they've been wiped out of West Bengal, and of course now they'll be wiped out of Kerala. But the ironical thing apart from that, Jaydev, is that this same CPM and Congress, who are fighting like dogs out there, no barge fight in Kerala, they have tied up together, or they have contested together earlier in West Bengal, and they're going to do it again now. So they keep saying, when in Kerala you often hear, when you see the news channels in Kerala, the CPM party accuses the Congress of tying up with the BJP to win elections, and the Congress does something similar and saying the BJP has a tie with the communist. And both the parties agree on one thing: they say BJP has no footing in Kerala at all. So the question obviously then why would anybody tie up with the BJP? BJP doesn't have a footing in Kerala. So both of them want to kind of play the minority card, scare the minorities, Muslims and Christians. A small incident in Chhattisgarh was blown up into a big news in Kerala. And when something similar happened with another religion beating up a Christian, then there was no news in Kerala. Manipur was played to the hilt by the Kerala-based news channels, all of which went hammer and tongs at Narendra Modi, BJP, Amit Shah, saying that they're butchering Christians in Manipur, so that the vote bank of BJP, which they were getting from the Christians, a little bit would go away. I'm sure the channel succeeded to a large extent, aided by the bishops, who also had an axe to grind with the BJP. And they didn't like the fact that some of the bishops in Delhi and also some bishops from Kerala were meeting Prime Minister Narendra Modi at important functions. And that is something that hasn't gone down well in Kerala, because for them, BJP is a principal enemy for the church, because the conversion rackets to a large extent in North India have plateaued out. There's a large resistance in tribal areas against conversions, and the church feels that the BJP is responsible for it. I feel so that one of the reasons why BJP didn't do well in Ernakulam, they did get good number of seats they got, but it was not a huge win there. And also, obviously, in Pathanamthitta, and their loss in Pandalam cannot be explained. This is the hometown of Lord Ayyappa, where the family still lives, the royal family still lives there. And in fact, that they lost Pandalam because there was some internal politics in the Pandalam unit of BJP, which resulted in their loss. But overall, if you look at the bigger picture, I think it's a good start for BJP. Rajiv Chandrasekhar brought in a corporate culture, and to a large extent, he's been able to bring the party together, because a faction-led party is now at least winning something which they can showcase to others and say, look, we won Thiruvananthapuram. And Prime Minister Modi tweeting in Malayalam was the icing on the cake.
Yeah, so the Kerala election is just around next year. So going by this, do you think UDF is going to win?
I think the UDF will do well, but see, local issues are one thing, Jaydev, and winning an assembly election is a totally different cup of tea, and both cannot go along together. And The local issues are all about roads, drainage, traffic, electricity, small issues which the local corporator, the panchayat, are involved, the ward member in case of a municipality or a municipal corporation. An assembly is something totally different. One of the main things which Congress has been able to do is hold on to their allies, at least in North Kerala, which is the Indian Union Muslim League. But now the crucial fact is Kottayam and nearby areas which they did well. Will we see Joske Mani of Kerala Congress, not to be confused with Indian National Congress Kerala, the Kerala Congress Mani group coming back to the Congress, thus strengthening their position in Kottayam and nearby areas. The UDF has to perform well in the central part of Kerala, and that is going to be the crucial factor. And the fact that the Trivandrum loss will weigh heavily on the LDF, because they need to find out areas apart from Kannur, which is their traditional stronghold, as to where they can win more seats. I mean, the BJP did even well in Kozhikode, okay, which is surprising because that is an area where they were never supposed to do well. But they've done well there too. There, not that they won massively, but a good number of seats they won there. And the assembly elections are going to be a test case, because every election in Kerala, either the LDF wins, the next one will be UDF, the UDF wins, next one will be LDF. There now been a continuity of government. But for the first time, what we are seeing, we saw last time rather, is that the LDF won twice. Now, will they hit a hat trick this time? Remains to be seen. And unless Pinarayi Vijayan comes down his high horse, in case of Shabarimala or other cases, he needs to be humble. He needs to understand that arrogance doesn't work. The Keralite is a big egoistic animal. He doesn't like being dictated to. And that is something Pinarayi Vijayan should understand. The loss of communism across the world was due to despotic leaders. Okay, be it Romania, be it USSR, and any other Poland or any other country where communism thrived, including Cuba, the favorite of the Malayalis. But everywhere it has gone. It's only existing in one part of the world, a small part of the world called India, in a small part of the world within India rather, called Kerala. And if it disappears from here, as I said before, it's all curtains for the LDF or the communism in India. As it happened in West Bengal, after 35 odd years of rule, the left front or the CPM is well and truly buried. Manik Sarkar is out from Tripura, and out of the map will go Kerala, and CPM will be history after that. If they don't win this election, the upcoming election, then it's going to be curtains. They need to redraw their entire strategy. They need to come down from their high horse. They need to rein in people like M.M. Mani, who kind of shoots off his mouth every now and then. They need to bring down the arrogance of Pinarayi Vijayan. Govindan Master needs to also curtail his aggression. They need to look humble, which they were at one time, as a party for the workers. No longer now. Industrialization is a big zero. Students are fleeing Kerala after their intermediate to go and study in other states. And I can tell you, last week I was in the University of Central University in Gulbarga, Kalburgi in Karnataka. I'd gone to give a talk there, and I saw, and I was told rather, that a huge number of Malayali students studying there. And all of them came through the central exam that was conducted, and they did well, which means they don't have opportunities within their state. That is why they're fleeing either to other states or abroad to study, and of course, never to come back to Kerala again. I may be one case in point like that. I came here in 1965 to Hyderabad with my dad and mom. Been here ever since. Never thought of going back, even though I bought some land there. I don't think I will ever go back there, because it scares me to go there. Because we are used to a certain sense of discipline in Hyderabad, not when we go for Kerala. It's a great place for vacation, not to work.
Yeah. So coming to the next point, Suresh, as you know that Lionel Messi, he came to India, and quite interestingly, he met Rahul Gandhi at an Adani-sponsored event. And also for the Sharad Pawar's birthday bash, they shook hands and they told the media not to take any pictures of them. So, and now he's going to Germany for God knows what.
Well, that's the irony of it, isn't it? If you look at the logos in that particular one, they were all real estate guys. And there was one Adani somewhere, and some JSW and a Coca-Cola, and Singareni Coleridge, which ironically is a central government and state government company. God knows what they were doing in sponsoring a football tournament. apart from putting the money. There needs to be an inquiry. Forget the match. Hyderabad did well, at least better than Kolkata. There was no major match as was predicted. It was just kicking on the ball for a few minutes. That's it. But more importantly, is the money that was spent. According to the state government, they didn't spend any money. So who was sponsoring Lionel Messi's trip to India? The main person, Datta, he's somewhere in a jail in Kolkata. We need to know who forked out the money. How much did the Hyderabad-based companies or Telangana-based companies put into this? What was the quid pro quo that was given? Was Singarini Collieries used to fork out the money, or were real estate companies in Hyderabad, whose logos you can see in that, asked to put in money so that Rahul Gandhi could make an appearance? What has Rahul Gandhi got to do with the football tournament? Fine, fails to understand. Even though he got admission into the sports quota, I believe, in St. Stephen's. I don't know what game he played at the national level to get a admission into St. Stephen's. A lot of people suggesting different things, but here the question is very simple. Lionel Messi coming to India is great, there's no doubt about it, but it's a money-making machine. Let's be very, very clear about that. There's no Argentinian team, just a few footballers from his own club, and that's it. And they must have made millions in this. Millions is not the word. So night down, the Kolkata-based Kolkata police is conducting an inquiry. There seems to be a commission that is going into it, inspecting the stadium, wanting the refunds. But my question is very simple: are these same logos seen all around the country, or there were different logos for different regions? And the fact that you mentioned about Sharad Pawar's party, well, the fun of it is that Adani also had wanted to set up a university, or rather wanted to contribute to setting up a good university in Hyderabad, which Revant Reddy had in his mind, a skill development university. And he given a princely amount of 100 crores for it. Revant Reddy panicked when the Congress High Command came to know about it and returned the money. Now that project is stuck nowhere, short of money anyway. But the point is, you can't antagonize Adani in this scenario in India, as much as you can't do with Ambani also. These are people who need to be there. They provide employment. You may differ with their politics, you may differ with their business strategies, but Ambani's didn't grow rich under the BJP. They grew rich under the Congress. Adani came in much later. So the question is very simple: what is Rahul Gandhi scared of? Rahul Gandhi is scared of his handshake with Gautam Adani. Then it's a real cause for worry. Why is he trying to avoid it? What is the reason for it? Obviously, there's a lot that meets the eye here. One just had to go back and ask Congress, remember those scams which they had during that rule? Right from the Commonwealth to the coal to 2G, everything under the sun was a scam under Manmohan Singh government. Who were those businessmen who made money then? Where are they now? I mean, we talk about Vijay Mallya fleeing India. Who gave loans to Vijay Mallya in the first place? It happened during the UPA era. The fact that he fled India when Modi ji came in was an obvious fact that he knew he was going to be punished. But under Congress regime, he would not have been punished. Just like Janardhan Pujari in the good old days giving loan waivers, he too would have got one loan waiver from them. That would happen. In any case, that's a case in point is Adani and the infamous handshake, or the famous handshake that never was captured in celluloid or in photography, surprisingly. And Rahul Gandhi obviously is avoiding all this. He knows that his entire campaign against Modi ji is based on Adani hate. And sooner or later, we will catch him at some place where he is shaking hands with Gautam Adani or his son.
Yeah. So why do you think he went to Germany?
Well, that's a good question. Why does he go to Thailand? Why does he go to Colombia?
Vietnam.
You need to ask. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah. So usually when he goes on foreign trips, something happens in India. Like he says hydrogen bomb, and we saw the Red Fort blast. After that, and all those things. So, is there some planning going on, like the Open Society Foundation is, funding overseas Congress or anything of that sort? Do you see anything?
Well, San Pitroda is the person who knows where Sonia Gandhi's money is parked, or rather the Gandhi family or the Nehru family's private limited funds are parked. It used to be people like Motilal Vora, Oscar Fernandez. These people used to control the funds. And unfortunately, they are not there anymore. Ahmad Patel is also gone. So it is Sam Pitroda who controls everything. That is why a suspension of Sam Pitroda was withdrawn in no time, because they know very well that Sam has the keys to the treasury of Sonia Gandhi, and the Congress First family will not do anything to upset him. And he arranges all these tours abroad. Whether he gets funded by Open Society Foundation is another point, because of enough money in the Congress family. The party might be short of cash, but the first family of uh, the Nehru Gandhi clan is sitting on tons of money abroad. And that is what we have. I have always my doubts whenever he travels abroad. It is not just for giving speeches here or there, but to fix up some deal somewhere. And that must be the reason why he's traveling so often. And in a sense, I'm also kind of puzzled why the government of India is not acting on it, especially Rahul Gandhi's citizenship case. From a long time, that is lying around somewhere, and now nobody has done anything about it. Something has to be done on that front. And that is where Jaydev, I feel that the BJP has not acted fast enough. The National Herald case is lying in a limbo. The Rahul Gandhi citizenship case is lying somewhere else. Sonia Gandhi's voter registration case is lying in some Delhi court. Nothing is moving. It looks like the BJP doesn't want to have Rahul Gandhi in jail, because that would get them more sympathy. So let him keep roaming around, and let him get more votes for BJP. That must be the BJP strategy.
Yeah, you saw the movie Durandar, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
it covered a lot of topics like the Rue scam, the Parliament attack, the 26/11 attack. So, can you tell us now how is this movie like? What was your opinion of this film?
Well, I liked it a lot, because I could relate to a lot of things in it. But today's generation will have to do a bit of reading up. In fact, that's what I wrote my review on Facebook. They will have to read up something on IC 814. They will have to read up something on Ajit Doval, who many don't know is a Kerala cadre officer of the IPS. He is from Garhwal, he's from the north, but his cadre was Kerala. But he worked only very short time there. And one of his famous cases were where he arrested Pinarayi Vijayan, then a lowly level worker of CPM, and locked him up in a police station in Kannur for a riot that he and his party were causing. Anyway, what I liked about it is what their real life characters. We read about them every day. Raman Dakai, the role that Sanjay Dutt portrayed of Aslam, SP Aslam. Everyone you could relate to. But what I liked about that was certain dialogues in those movies, where they say that the enemy of Indians are Indians. And you see that today. I mean, you see that even in case of whenever there is, Arundhati Roy saying the parliament attack never happened. It was only a conspiracy done by Modi government. All these ridiculous things, they bring forth all on this. And we feel that the enemies of Indians are Indians themselves. But it is a lovely movie, very well made. 3 hours and 30 minutes just goes like that. Lots of violence, which is expected, but it is not forced on violence. It was violence which had to happen, because that was what the character demanded from that point in time. Waiting for a sequel in March. But my main point is the movie actually brought out some things which the Indian movie makers are uncomfortable about, because we have an Indian spy usually tying up with a Pakistani ISI agent to destroy an Indian agent. And that's what all the movies are all about. And usually the Pakistani ISI agent is a female wearing a bikini and walking around. They are yet to come out of their burqas, we know for sure. But in Indian movies, they always wear a bikini. And I mean, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, all look kiddish compared to the roles that were portrayed in this movie by Ranveer Singh or Akshay Khanna, Rakesh Bedi, and others. Coming to the Delarue case, I tweeted about it the same night after I saw the movie, after I wrote the review. And I said the father-son duo is very clear who it was. Everyone knows Arvind Mayaram's role in it. And I tweeted about it. You won't believe, the same night around 1:20, I had slept off by then. Next day morning, I noticed a message on my Facebook Messenger from Karthi Chidambaram saying, "Congratulations on your WhatsApp University knowledge." And I shared a screenshot of that on my Twitter as well as on my Facebook. Karthi comes to my Facebook Messenger and messages me. And he had done it before also. And an earlier time when he did it, I suggested that he should get his eyes checked up at Vasan Eye Care, because that's where he and his father made billions again. Why was he feeling guilty? It was very obvious in the movie when one of the intelligence officers tells Ajit Doval, played by Madhavan brilliantly again, that there was this currency note happening in Pakistan in being printed, especially the 500 notes, and they were being liberally distributed through Nepal via Qatar. And that part of it hit everybody because not many people were aware of that. And I knew it because I questioned this Karthi on this before also, and that time also he reacted pretty violently against me. And I kept it at that and asked him, "Is there? Can you say for sure that you have not done it?" He cannot, because he and his father have done it. We all know that the entire machine, which was supposed to be dismantled and sold from the Nashik security printing press, was sold en lot as a block, and that was used by Pakistan. I mean, Jaydev, think of it. After this the entire thing, why did Modi ji do a demonetization? Now you connect the dots back. You realize it's that 500 rupee notes with that particular security thread which had to be got rid of. And you won't believe that the person who was printing these notes, enacted by Rakesh Bedi, I forget his name, he committed suicide the third day after demonetization was introduced. Because he was stuck literally with billions of 500 rupee notes which are worthless. And now you connect and say, why did Modi ji do demonetization? Rahul Gandhi found that a lot of people died standing in the line. He will not talk about the main guy who was printing these notes on behalf of ISA in Pakistan committing suicide on the day this happened. And that is what the main thing is. Stone throwing stopped in Jammu and Kashmir within days of the 500 rupee note being demonetized. Why? Question. And who had this role? And again, here I fault the Modi government. Why is Chidambaram allowed to get away with all this? We won't know what he did with the Mauritius route with FDI. We know what his son did sitting in Singapore, fiddling the Indian rupee with the help of RBI, playing the futures and options. We know all this. Why is it that the Modi government is not acting on very, very kind of information available on a platter to pull up Chidambaram, put him in jail? Because I address him on Twitter as Tihar Chidambaram, because I think that's where he should be. Because he cheated this country, not once, twice. 2611, he made admission in Parliament on December 9th, I think so, if I'm not wrong. It is there in RVS Mani's book, quoted in parliamentary records, to say that the Indian government knew that the boat was leaving the Pakistani waters with terrorists on board. Yet they allowed the boat to go. And in this movie also there's a mention of that our intelligence was not acted upon. And you connect all these things, Jaydev. There was a huge conspiracy during the Congress rule. And it is a golden opportunity for Modi government to go after these characters, put them in jail. But for some reason, neither Amit Shah ji nor Modi ji is doing it. Maybe they have the reasons. There's not enough proof or whatever it is. But if you put Chidambaram under the ringer, his son especially, for the billions they have made, selling cauliflower made on the terrace, and this is what it is all about. This movie really opens up a can of worms. It shows what a spy goes through, what a RAW agent goes through. And remember the biggest traitor of them all, Hamid Ansari. He was the one who blew the cover of numerous RAW operatives in the Middle East, all of whom were killed by the respective governments there. And that gentleman was made the vice president by Sonia Gandhi as a reward for doing that. Now put it all together. The note printing in Karachi, the terrorists allowed to get away on a boat, and all these things put together, it is very, very clear, Jaydev, that the Congress was involved in the conspiracy of 2611. It was a fixed match between the ISI and Pakistan and the Indian National Congress. And for sure, we need to know a lot more things. But the Modi government, unfortunately, I don't know for whatever reason, as I repeat before, is not doing anything about it. We need to nail the culprits. And I think Durandar as a movie has really shaken it up all up. There are a lot of people who are uncomfortable in Pakistan, but there are a lot more uncomfortable in India. And as Ajit Doval says in the movie, the biggest problem for India, or the biggest terrorist or whatever terrorist supporters for India, or the biggest problem for India is Indians, Hindustani. Pakistan comes next. That is the problem. We have so many doubting Thomases here in India. We have so many supporters of Pakistan, ISI in India. We have so many sympathizers there sitting in India that Pakistan looks like a kind of a small player in this entire thing. We need to nail them all one by one. But that requires a huge amount of effort And as we saw in the massacre in Australia, terror has no religion. At least that is what we are told. And we know what happened now in Australia. The Australian government has also finally woken up to realize that terror does have a religion.
Yeah, and the last point, Suresh, is that with regards to Shivraj Singh Chauhan, and his security has increased because of a threat, and it is the ISI who is gathering information regarding him. So, how do you see this development?
Well, I'm skeptical about it, because if it was Ajit Doval or Amit Shah or anybody even up the hierarchy, I can still understand it. But Shivraj Singh Chauhan, I have my own doubts. Maybe there's some internal threat from India that is happening, but there is obviously a review always before your security is enhanced. Maybe the government of India had certain inputs, but Shivraj Singh Chauhan, I have my own doubts. I don't really fancy the theory there.
Yeah, but like if it is Amit Shah or Modi, we can understand, or
But
Yogi
Shivraj,
ji.
exactly. So Shivraj Singh Chauhan is not a player at that level, that he needs to be protected. Maybe there was a specific input. Maybe we don't know. But why, if you ask me, why would ISI target Shivraj Singh Chauhan and not somebody else in the Modi government who's far more important? Why would they go after him? There are so many other ministers in Modi government, even among the bureaucrats, whom they can target. But Shivraj Singh Chauhan, I don't know. Maybe if it is just to create a scare by doing an assassination attempt or something like that, because I can still understand the Naxalite threat to him, because that still exists, even though they have been wiped out from Madhya Pradesh, but they're still active in certain parts of Chhattisgarh. But maybe that is one reason. But ISI Pakistan, I have my own doubts on that, Jaydev. Because again, I'm not an expert in this field. I don't know the inputs which the IB and the RAW would have got.
Yeah, that was a wonderful session, Suresh ji, and thanks for coming. And we see you again next week.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.